Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. With you is Abdullah Oduro, founder of KnewU, the New Muslim Experience. And to my right is Ustadh Nouman Ali Khan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh, I have two questions for you.
Okay.
The first of them being, what have you within your Muslim life, as a youngster and as growing up and mashallah, having an institute now, what have you seen when it comes to the issue of new Muslims in the Muslim community?
Quite a few problems.
Okay.
I mean, probably the first of those problems is isolation, and there's a lack of channels for intimidation-free communication. I mean, we've heard this all the time, right? Somebody takes shahada, everybody gets excited, and then the follow-up isn't there, and if there is kind of follow-up, it's a little too overwhelming, or somebody's shoving their own version of Islam down their throat, or whatever, And that's one of the biggest problems. And the other issue is, people are going through a lot in life, especially when they turn to Allah in this way. That's probably not a normal situation they're going through in life, right? So it is at these kinds of critical junctures you really need somebody to talk to and air things out with. So these people, when they come to the faith, they're not just turning to Allah, they're also turning to the believers. They're turning to a community. And when they don't find somebody they can open up with, and somebody that they can relate to, man or woman, then it can be very frustrating. And it's no surprise that after a couple of weeks, if that long, we stop seeing those individuals at the masjid or anywhere else for that matter, and they kind of disappear back into the woodworks, and we wonder what happened, So that's probably the biggest concern. And the second biggest problem I've seen is the Muslims, because of the internet age and everything's being made accessible, Islam and any variation thereof can be acquired at at Googling it.
Right.
So you have this fragments and bits and pieces of Islam that a genuine new Muslim is holding on to, thinking this is the correct faith. And sometimes that stuff can be cultish, it can be weird, it can be even highly un-Islamic, and just way out there, way left field, way right field. So you need an actual person, or people that, even if you're going to connect to them online, but there's not some anonymous virtual entity with a screen name, but an actual person with a physical presence and credibility to be able to relate to be able to talk to. Those would be the two big problems I see.
Right. So isolation and finding someone with a personal touch to relate to them, to talk to them.
Yeah.
Right. So with that reality, with those two problems in and of itself, there are people becoming Muslim every day in every masjid, all around the world. That leaves a sort of responsibility for the existing Muslim community, Muslim entities. What advice would you give for those individuals in the masjid? Not only the quote-unquote knowledgeable imams, but every Muslim within the masjid. Is there any advice you give to them?
I think we have to get our organizational house in order.
Okay.
And alhamdulillah, in any given community, we have just a really awesome variety of talents and resources.
Right.
And one such resource that is completely underutilized is a wealth of Muslims that came to Islam later on in life, that have already gone through this journey and have now to a great extent matured and even gotten further studies under their belt. And we need to actually kind of put those people in positions where they can connect with individuals that are coming into the game. More at the forefront. They shouldn't be the only ones, but they should absolutely be at the forefront, because they're the first place to know what this person is going through, because they've gone through something similar themselves, right? And what that means is, for new Muslims, we shouldn't just have a support program, but for those that are seasoned Muslims or came to Islam later on in life, there needs to be some pretty solid educational opportunities available to them, so they can serve that role in a healthy way. Right? So this becomes a cyclical thing. So the very same people that needed that help and counsel in the beginning turn around and they're offering some of these leadership and counseling roles themselves in a matter of years. I want to see that same person sitting in a new Muslim class or program in a couple of years teaching that new Muslim class or program.
Right.
So we have to kind of replant the seed type of thing. We have to think of running the community like running a garden.
Right.
So that's one thing I'd really like, and I don't think it takes a lot of resources to do that. I really don't. I don't think it takes enormous amounts of fundraisers and crazy amounts of bureaucracy. It's something very easy to pull off. Just the will needs to be there, and somebody needs to take the initiative. The thing with Muslims is, if somebody hasn't done it, then we're like, all right, how can it happen? somebody just takes charge and does something, like you're doing the KnewU thing, which is awesome. Because I think when somebody does something like that, I can guarantee you there are communities all over the country that don't know about KnewU and are thinking about it, and they're like, I don't even know where to begin.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
But if they see that, they might even contact you, and I think people should, get onto the Facebook page and, check it out and see what you guys are up to so they can duplicate efforts, maybe even come and meet with you guys, see what you guys are up to, replicate things. And that's what we need to create. It's a kind of cooperation and synergy. Because as I've traveled, I've been to maybe 200-300 masjids across the country. And there's some really awesome individuals that need to be connected with each other. And now we have the means to do that. So there's no reason it shouldn't happen.
MashaAllah. Jazakumullah khairan. I mean, these are words of wisdom. And as been expressed from many individuals before, the same concerns that go on with new Muslims. And it's very important that this consciousness is brought to the communities and to mankind in general. And I really want to thank Sheikh Nouman Ali Khan, the founder of Bayna Institute. I'm Abdullah Oduro with you with KnewU. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Not a sheikh.